Hi, and welcome to this episode of Consciousness and Me. My name is Josephine, and I thought today we would talk about the difference between a spiritual awakening and personal development. So, for me, the definition of a spiritual awakening is realizing that we are not our thoughts. We're not this idea we have about ourselves, and neither is the world. Not the idea we have of the world. And usually, when people think about spiritual awakening, we associate that with bliss or with happiness or um, joy, love. But I would suggest that those are the side effects, or so to speak. Those are the consequences of waking up. Waking up is basically to see that I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions. So, what am I really? Well, I'm this consciousness, I'm this awareness, and I have no limits. And everything that I experience arises within my awareness. Nothing has ever happened outside of consciousness. And there's no reason to think that I don't share my consciousness with everyone and everything. Um, Basically, I don't want to define a spiritual awakening because as soon as you define it, mm, you've missed the mark, so to speak. But see this as pointers. It's towards it's towards that, in that direction. But it's easy to conflict that once you're enlightened or spiritually awakened, that's the same as being loving towards everyone, being understanding, feeling like you belong. So it's easy for when we're separate selves, it's easy that we um, map these two together as though spiritual awakening is the feeling of oneness, is the feeling of love, is the feeling of joy, is the feeling of happiness. And in some sense it is, but if we think as separate selves that, okay, then I'm just going to go on a personal development journey and I'm going to become nicer to everyone. I'm going to become more understanding. I'm going to be better at listening. I'm going to be better at expressing myself. I'm going to become a bit saintly or holy. That's not the same thing as spiritual awakening. Then we're aiming for the byproducts. We're aiming for the side effects of the real thing. And this is not in any way to discredit personal development. As long as we're a separate self, it's nice to be able to have better communication tools. It feels sweeter to be kind to the world, or sometimes, sometimes maybe it's appropriate to release anger. But you get the drift. It's not a bad thing to go on a personal development journey, but it's different from spiritual awakening. And the thing is, they're not even contradictory. It's easy to think that they're on one end of the spectra and the other one's on the other one, but they're not really. You can be on a spiritual journey, aiming for self-discovery, and also do personal development. So it's not either or, and it's not a criticism of either or. It's just a bit of a clarification. So if we're a separate self and we look at enlightenment, it's easy to think that enlightenment is those qualities that we desire. But they're actually the side product of realizing that we're not this separate individual. We're one with the whole world, with the universe, with everyone else. And for me, that wasn't really clear initially. It took me quite a while to start to map out that they are not the same. And if it still is a bit unclear to you, let me try with an example. I'm going to borrow a metaphor from Rupert Spira, and then I'm going to tweak it a bit. I don't think he minds. So he has one example where he talks about an actor going on stage performing a role. He usually calls them John Smith is the actor and King Lear is the performance or the character on stage. And in this metaphor, it's basically John Smith dresses up, takes on the memories and the clothes and the thoughts of King Lear, and then he goes up on stage. And at some point, maybe he gets even so enthusiastic about the play that he forgets that he is John Smith. He thinks he's King Lear. And this is, of course, the metaphor of John Smith being infinite universe, infinite consciousness. John Smith is infinite consciousness, and King Lear is the localization of us, our individual beings, our egos, separate selves. So many different words pointing to the same thing. So the difference between personal development and spiritual awakening, it's basically, if John Smith is so lost in King Lear that he thinks he is King Lear, personal development would basically be King Lear seeing all this or hearing about all these qualities that John Smith has, and he would like to have them as well. So he starts to learning how to act like John Smith. He starts to researching what clothes John Smith wears. So he takes on the clothes of John Smith. And slowly he starts to resemble John Smith more. And he thinks he's getting closer. He's getting closer to becoming John Smith. But spiritual awakening is actually the other way around. That's King Lear looking inward, questioning who he really is, and realizing that he is John Smith. He's not King Lear. King Lear doesn't even exist. He is John Smith. And by realizing that he is John Smith, all of the qualities of John Smith magically surfaces because they were never lost. They were never foreign. And it's not like King Lear dies. King Lear's just seen through. The illusion is fading. So spiritual awakening is King Lear realizing he is John Smith. And personal development is King Lear trying to act like John Smith. Did that make it clearer for you? Possibly, possibly not. Does this resonate with your understanding of spiritual awakening and personal development? Please comment below about your own experience, or if you have any questions or any sharings. You're listening to Consciousness and Me, and my name is Josephine. Thank you for listening.